Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a wonderful Thursday. Hi, my name is Carly Bell, and I love to do machine embroidery tutorials. And today we are going to be starting a brand new sew along project that I'm really excited about. So, very quickly, let me check the chat. Let me know if y'all can hear and see me okay. And how are you doing? Are you excited to start a new sew along? So I see Joe and Annette and Becky and Beverly. How are y'all all doing today? Yay! I'm so glad y'all are here. So when I first got into machine embroidery, it was all for the baby stuff. I had my little girls. I wanted to make them all the cute little things. Then, as I dove into embroidery, I learned all the other things and projects that we can make. And my latest obsession is quilting and using my embroidery machine to quilt. And I fell down the rabbit hole of Kimberbell a few years ago. And finally, earlier this year, I actually made and finished a project. Let me see if I have a picture of it. But we completed the Oh So Delightful quilt from Kimberbell. And that was my first time doing such a large project. It was so much fun, and I'm so proud of it. I have it hanging here in my craft room, but it's kind of across from where the camera is. And I love it. And so today we're going to be starting a new Kimberbell quilt. And this one is called Candy Corn Quilt Shoppe. And it is a Halloween themed quilt. So very excited. This one is super cute. However, it is a bit larger than the other quilt that we have done. So it's going to be a little bit more work, but I feel like I could handle it now. I feel like y'all can handle it too. And we can work together and we can get this done before Halloween. That is the goal. So what we're going to be doing today is just general discussion about this project. I'm going to tell you all my plans. I'm going to show you how I'm prepping for it. I have a free organizational chart for y'all to download. I have a schedule. All my things are here in front of me. Well, actually, not all of them. Some of my papers over there I need to go grab. But also to give y'all the opportunity to ask any questions that you may have if you've not done a project like this before. Give me all the questions. I feel like I could answer some things now. And then we also have some wonderful people who usually join us for my videos and for these sew-alongs that are super knowledgeable. So I know that we have a great community between all of us that we can all help each other out and encourage each other. So let me grab my papers and show y'all all my planning I've been doing. I got all these things. So let's jump into where I feel like I was not prepared the first time I tried to do a Kimberbell quilt, with understanding all the things you really need to get started, because you think, oh, I just need to buy the designs and boom, I'm done. Unfortunately, not. But good news is there is a sale this week. Just so happened, very, very lucky, that Kimberbell has a sale every week. They change their deal of the week. And this week, this quilt is on sale along with the embellishment kit. So let's talk about the designs first, okay? And that is the main thing you need. That's like the one thing you can't go without. That's the one thing you have to buy in order to complete this project, is what I'm going to say is the embroidery designs for all the bits of the quilt. So let me switch you over. My mouse is not behaving today, so let's see if it works. So this is what you're going to call the machine embroidery version of the quilt. There are two versions of this you can get. This is the physical version. You get shipped to you an actual book with all the instructions, and all of the designs are on a CD. Now, I know a lot of people like me have computers that do not have a CD drive. Don't worry. If your computer doesn't have a CD drive, you can purchase a really inexpensive CD drive from Amazon that you can plug into your computer, then pretty much download all the designs off the CD and save them to your computer where you're never going to have to actually use this again. When I purchased mine, I bought this last September, I think. So yeah, it was a year ago. It was a bundle, and this was what was on sale. However, today on Kimberbell's website, and when I say today is what? Thursday, September 4th, 2025. So if you're watching the replay later, it's probably not going to be on sale anymore. But this week, Kimberbell has the digital version of this embroidery design set on sale. And so you won't actually get mailed anything. You will get instant download to all the designs, which will include a PDF of this book. So then you can just print it out. So that's very easy to do. You don't have to wait for anything to ship, and you'll get all the designs in your Kimberbell digital library, which you can go and download on your computer. And then that will include a PDF of this so that you can go and print it out if you would like, or you could just have it open on your computer when it's time to look at things. Now, when you look at this quilt, and if you look closely, hopefully my camera's not glaring up too much, there are tons of cute little things on here. There are these little mini quilts. There are buttons. There is like specialty fabrics like faux leather and glitter. There's tulle, there's ribbon. One of the things I love about Kimberbell projects is they have a lot of 3D effects. Now, this is something I don't plan on putting in the washing machine. This is going to get hung up on the wall and not actually used on my sofa or anything like that. So that's how we can add all those little 3D things we call embellishments. And that is a separate purchase. And this is also on sale this week on Kimberbell's website. So you can see some of the cute little buttons that get on after. They got organza, they got shiny metallic like faux leather. They have all kinds of stuff. So you can kind of see here on the back is everything that's included. It includes foam, everything you need to make the 3 little mini quilts. And then all the specialty fabrics, including mylar, vinyl, faux leather, glitter, organza, velvet, ribbon, all kinds of stuff. So I love these little kits that go with a lot of Kimberbell projects because they really make it special, in my opinion. So those are the 2 things that are on sale on Kimberbell's website. So let me take you now. Screen's going to look crazy for a second. All right. Now, if you look under this video, you should see a description box with links. And the first link you should see is going to take you to the page, the info page for Candy Corn Quilt Shoppe on my website. All right. And if you don't see it under there, just go to my website. If you just scroll down, you'll see it. But I have a whole section dedicated to sew-alongs. If you go to blog, embroidery, sew-alongs, on here, it'll show you all of my sew-alongs. These are my past ones. And then this one is the one we're working on today. So this will give you all the info. All right. Where am I? I think I'll get to all that in a bit, but I want to show you I have a link to Kimberbell Deal of the Week. So I'm going to click that. And that brings you to Kimberbell's website. Every Monday after 10 a.m. Mountain Time, they update this page. So this is what is on sale this week. And this is the digital download of all the embroidery designs and the embellishment kit. So those 2 things are on sale. And that's where you can find them. And the link is on my page here. Now, the other big things that you can purchase, again, the quilt designs are the only thing that's absolutely necessary. Everything after this is going to be optional and just gives it a little bit more. when I first got a quilt, I did not realize that all of these cute little background quilting designs are not included in the digital download for the quilt. Only all these applique designs you see. That is what is included with these designs. But any quilting that happens behind those applique designs, that is not included. So you may have background quilting designs already that you have collected over the years, or you can choose not to have any background quilting behind your applique designs and just have the pretty fabric and pretty appliques. But this is an optional purchase, and this is all Halloween themed background quilting made specifically for this quilt. So that's a separate purchase. And then if you love the fabric that is in this quilt, as you see in the example, you can actually buy a kit of all of those same fabrics for you to use. So those are the 4 main big things. And then there's also a thread option, a thread kit option for this quilt. So that's usually where people start looking at this and they're like, oh my goodness, this is a lot of stuff. So that's where I want to make sure I, specify the main thing you need is this. You can use fabric you already have in your craft room, use your thread you already have in your craft room. You can use background quilting designs that you may have already collected or don't even do background quilting. Or something we did with another quilt is the bundle is expensive of all the background quilting designs. You could just go buy 1 or 2. I think they usually run between $10 and $12 a piece. Just go buy 1 or 2 and do all your background quilting with those designs. They don't need to be different for every single block. So options for you. While this is on sale, I would grab this. This is going to really make your quilt stand out and have all those little 3D effects. So if it was me, definitely go get these 2 things. The designs, get the digital one though. That's the one that's on sale, and the embellishment kit. And then the rest, scrounge together what you have already. I'm sure lots of y'all have good stashes of crafts and everything and fabric in your room. All right. So yay. So Christine said she got the fabric kit and the thread kit on Etsy. Yes. So with a lot of these products, the design, the background quilting, I got all my stuff directly from Kimberbell. However, the embellishment kits, the fabric kits, the thread kits, once that quilt has been out for a while, Kimberbell may not carry those things anymore. And that's when you can find local quilt shops that still have it. And a lot of local quilt shops have now opened their own Etsy shops so that they can, have a larger customer base because they may be in a really small town. So that's what I do. I go to Etsy. I find local, not local to me, but maybe local to someone else's quilt shop, because we only really have one quilt shop in New Orleans, and she doesn't really have any Kimberbell stuff, unfortunately. So I can find quilt shops on Etsy that have some of these products in stock, and that's where I buy them. And that's where I got the fabric kit, which I'll show you in a second. So let's take a step back and let's talk about how we're going to do all this. My goal for this project is to go live almost every Tuesday and Thursday from now until the week of Halloween. I thought I was going to finish it all the week before Halloween, but then I forgot I'm going out of town one weekend in October. So it is going to be, oh no, this is an old printout. I need to do the new printout. Yeah, because this one still has the day I'm going to be out of town on there. But if you look at my website, let me change this. Boop. Okay, no, come over here and click. There we go. Sorry. So on my website, I have the schedule. And so we're starting today, and we are going to go over everything and how to prep for our quilt. Now, my daughter Elise got really upset with me when I was telling her about all this, because we do not like homework in this house. And Elise always has a ton of homework, and we always complain about how much homework she has. But yet, I'm sorry, we have to do homework for this quilt so that we can actually get it done before Halloween. So this chart is on my website, and it gives you the date of the live class, the time. Pay attention to that because some days I have to change the time. And what we're going to actually work on for the class, and then what you need to work on after class is over to be prepared for the next class. So today is just prepping, and then for the rest of the weekend until next Tuesday, I am going to be cutting, interfacing, ironing, making envelopes, and I'm going to show you all of that today on how to do that. But we need to get it all done by next Tuesday. Now, next Tuesday, I have another class to teach in the morning, so we're going to do this one a little bit later at 12. And the first blocks we're going to work on are the flying geese and what they call border blocks, which is essentially the same thing as filler blocks that we did for Oh So Delightful. If you know what those are, they're just fabric with quilting on them. That's it. No applique designs or, real embroidery designs, just the quilting. So we're going to go over these, and there are a lot of border blocks for this quilt, but what I wanted to do was go over that for the first class so that the rest of them is going to be your homework, but you have a good 2 months to finish the border blocks as you go. If you just want to do a couple each time you're making another block, I like to try to combine as many as I can in one hooping, and I'll be showing you that in this class. Then we'll work on the pinwheels, and there are actually 3 large and 3 small pinwheels on the quilt, and so we'll do one of each in class, and then you'll finish the other 2 large, 2 small for homework. Then we have the sign, which is called Show and Share, and there's 3 witches. So we'll do 1 sign, 1 witch, and the other 2 witches will be homework. And then so on and so forth. And you just pay attention to the Tuesday and Thursday. Sometimes the times go back and forth between 10:30 in the morning Central Time or noon Central Time. And then the only day I have to skip, it'll be literally every Tuesday and Thursday from now until then. But on Thursday, October 16th, I'm going to be out of town. So I had to skip that Thursday. And then we'll come back on Tuesday the 21st, and we will finish the quilt right before Halloween. So I can hang it up for 2 days, 3 days, and I'll leave it up after. But that is the goal, to actually get all of this done by Halloween. So I know it's a lot. There are actually, I think, 40 blocks, and we have, not counting this class because we're not sewing anything this class, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, actually 10 classes where we'll be sewing blocks. And each class, my goal is to get 2 blocks done. So that leaves 20 blocks, still another 20 blocks to do as homework. And I see Renee's like, but this is fun homework. I agree. Yes, fun homework. So it's a lot. And then I want to have a class dedicated to borders, a class dedicated to once we have all our blocks done, we're going to piece them all together. This one for me is not as straightforward. If you did Oh So Delightful for me, what we did was we completed the blocks in sections. We separated the quilt in 4 sections. And so we did all the blocks from section 1, and then I pieced all those blocks together. So I had like a strip in section 2 and 3 and 4. And so then I just had these sections, and then I sewed those together. This one I'm going to wait till the end because we're kind of going all over the place with the blocks. And so we'll still have sections at the end that we're going to put together first, but I'm not going to try and do it as I go. I'm just going to wait till the end and we have all the blocks done. So we'll have a class on piecing it together. We'll have a class on adding the backing, which is basically we're going to do stitch in the ditch. And I'll show you that if you don't know what it is. A class on adding the binding, which I don't always have the best luck with, but fingers crossed it goes better than last time. And then the last class is adding embellishments. And I learned this lesson with Oh So Delightful, I was trying to add the embellishments as I went, like to the block. And then I was like, oh no, let me, I'll piece them all together first and then I'll add the embellishments. And then was doing that. I was like, oh wait, no, I can't add the backing if the embellishments are in the way. Learn the lesson. Embellishments are absolutely last, even after you've done everything. So that's going to be the last class right before Halloween, is how to add those embellishments. So all of that information is on my website, and I think you can just click the picture and print it out if you want. If it gives you trouble, just email me at hello@carlybell.com and I will email you this picture so you can print it out, or I'll try to remember to go add it to the free download I have for you. Okay. The other thing on the website for you that is absolutely free to go download is I made us I call it a cheat sheet or an organizational chart that, let me go over here. It's going to help you stay organized during this whole process. And so when you look at the schedule and you see, okay, flying geese and border blocks, here on this side is the design name. If you purchase the bundle of background quilting designs, I forget how many it comes with, like 8 or 10, I think. I'm going off of their recommendations of quilting to add to each block. And so the way the chart is set up, it's going to tell you the name of the design, the name and the size of the background quilting, what page in the book or your PDF, your digital PDF, that the instructions are for that block. I cut my batting to be the final size of the block. So this can either be read as batting size or final size. And then the cut size needs to take into account seam allowance. So this is what you're actually going to trim your block as. The background fabric that's being used, if you're using the fabric kit, if that block has any embellishments, and what thread color I'm doing my quilting in. So there are like, I think 10 pages of this chart. And so it goes through, the first is flying geese and border blocks, because that's what we're working on. These are all border blocks, pinwheels. So it's kind of in order of what we're doing the classes, instead of being in order of sections as we previously did. That's pinwheel, and then we do have a section 1 because those were all nice and together. That's the witches and the pumpkins, thimbles and headstones. Section 2 area and the hoops, there's 3 little hoop designs that are cute. The large blocks, the dress forms, and then this is the batting cuts. So there are 2 options of however you want to do this with batting. I prefer to cut my batting to size so that it is the size of the final block. I don't have to trim any batting, tack it down and trim it, and I can just glue it into place. You'll see this whole process if you haven't done this before when we start. Some people prefer to have their batting larger, and so that it actually gets tacked down and trimmed. So this cutting chart has both. So if you want to cut your batting to size, follow these cuts here, and this is how many you need of each. If you like to trim your batting to be larger, then you're going to follow these cuts, and this is your quantity. So just go with whatever side. It's a personal preference thing. So this organizational chart can be found on my website on that same page I was showing you earlier with all the supplies. You just put your name and email, and it automatically emails it to you. And it's going to tell me that you are interested in this sew along. So every time we're going to have a new video, a new class, I'm going to email you probably the day before and say, hey, don't forget we have class tomorrow at this time. Here's the link. So if you want to be on that list to get emailed to remind you of every class, go download the PDF and that will automatically put you on that email list. All right, let me check the comments. Any questions so far? Do I have anyone that is absolutely brand new and hasn't done a sew along before? I think, Joe, this might be your first sew along, right? But you watch some of the other ones, so you have a little idea what when I talk about, right? Let me know. Okay, so that. Now I guess let's get into the rest of the supplies, and I'm going to show you how I make my envelopes. All right. Let's see. Yeah, so Joe said she got to watch bits and pieces of the other. So you have a little bit of idea when I'm talking about some of the things. Okay. So let's go. The best way for me to tell you about the supplies is just to bring you to the website where I have them all listed. So let's go back to the website. Okay. So this goes over the class schedule. It has links to YouTube and Facebook. I'm guessing each class may be around 2 hours long, depending on what we're trying to complete. And most classes will have a little bit of homework. The fabric bookshelf and the quilt shop are really large blocks that we're probably going to do in 2 hoopings. So I may show one class on how to do it in a large hoop if you have it, and then I'll do another class on how to do it in 2 hoopings if your machine doesn't have that big of a hoop. All right, this is the link for today's video. And then as I go, I will be adding all of the following classes right under this. So this will be like your go-to page if you want to bookmark it for everything for this sew along. And I made a video playlist on my YouTube channel as well. All right, so let's get back to supplies. We went over the 4 main kits that you can purchase. This is on Kimberbell's website. This is on Kimberbell's website. This is the background quilting. The embellishment is also on Kimberbell's website. The fabric kit is not. So here I have links to if you want the physical booklet or the digital download. Remember, the digital download is the one on sale this week. This is the background quilting designs. I will be using Embroian's Essentials to combine my background quilting with my embroidery design. This is optional. I like it better. You may not. You have to figure out what works best for you. There is a way for you to just upload the design and the background quilting straight to your machine and stitch it out where you don't need Essentials. Where Essentials comes in handy is if you are wanting to stitch multiple blocks at one time, so like those border blocks or filler blocks. That's going to make life a lot easier. I also manipulate some of my designs to make them fit in my hoop, which I'll get to with some of the larger blocks. My goal is to do everything in a 6x10 hoop or smaller. I do have a 9.5x14. I may show one of the larger blocks on there on how it would be done without having to change anything. But I'm also going to show you techniques on how to create those larger blocks in a 6x10 or 5x7 hoop, so that everybody can kind of get benefit from it, no matter what size embroidery machine you have. The embellishment kit we talked about. Okay, stabilizer. This is something we've been doing for the last few sew-alongs. Now, past quilting and what Kimberbell recommends, I've used poly mesh no-show lightweight cutaway stabilizer. However, I am now using just simple lightweight muslin cotton fabric as stabilizer. I've used it for my past 2 big quilting projects and they've worked out excellent. It is much cheaper than using all my poly mesh stabilizer, and I bought a 5-yard bolt, I guess, on Amazon, and I still have a lot left, and I've done two projects with it already. So this is what I recommend. It's a lot cheaper. It's going to save you money, and it works just as well. So you can grab that if you don't already have some. You're going to need quilt batting. I have both warm and natural, and then I also have the Kimberbell project batting because I got it in a kit with a deal that I got. So I have both of those. Now the fabric. The fabric kit is optional. But if this is your first time doing a project like this and you can afford it, go for the fabric kit because it makes this whole process a lot easier, and it's going to help you to actually complete it. If you're like me and you procrastinate and like put things off, oh, I'm going to get it done. I need this to get it done. I have learned my lesson. So this is the fabric kit. I got it off of Etsy, and I've already started, I've already started preparing some of it just by cutting the interfacing. But it came with this cute little like pop out thing, and so I think it's supposed to be like a little house. I'm supposed to fold it. But it had all the, I didn't do it yet because it has all the fabric samples on the back. So it comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 17 fat 16ths, which are 9 by 11 inches. It comes with 6 fat 1/8, 1 fat 1/4, a 1/2 yard. This did not come with the backing though. No, it didn't come with the, that's one thing I'm missing. I don't have backing, but the backing fabric is super cute, but it's never going to get seen. So I may just use any kind of scrap fabric I have for the back of mine when we get to that point. It's got fabric for the binding, for the borders, and it has a couple just little fabric scraps for some of the applique bits. But this is, I know it's a little bit hard to see, but that's all the different types of fabric that is included in the kit. And they give you more than what you need. So for instance, and I'm going to show you this by the interfacing. I've started working on this already. So this is a fat 16th. In your instruction book, there is a page dedicated to the fabric requirements and the cut list. So it's going to show you a little swatch of all the fabric. So if you just want to go in your room and find things that are similar or things you want to replace bits with, or if you go shopping at a store, you know, just basically you need some oranges, some purples, some greens, some black, white, and gray. That's just basic. That's all you need. So it's going to tell you which fabrics go with which blocks in which section and what the size of that cut needs to be. Then when we get to this page, it actually has the fabric laid out. So what is this one? This one is this one right here. So this piece of fabric, and it shows you the most efficient way to cut that fabric. There's only 2 pieces of that fabric that's needed for the quilt, and it shows you the most efficient way to cut it. So all of this is left over. So what I am working on, what I started working on before the video started today, was cutting. I'm going to be interfacing all of this fabric with Pellon SF101, which I'll tell you more about in a minute. So I've been cutting my interfacing to be a little bit bigger than what's needed here. So this is that orange fabric. This is the interfacing for that, cut a little bit bigger than what I need. So what I'm going to end up doing is ironing this here. This is fusible. And after it's ironed, I'm going to go cut those 2 pieces out. And then all of this is left over for, I can use for other projects or for even some of the bonus projects that come with the quilt. So if you're not buying the fabric kit, you could still use all of this information in the booklet on at least a guide of what maybe color scheme, if you want to go with, keep the same color scheme, what you're going to need, how much of it you're going to need, and the most efficient way to cut it. There's also information here for all of the embellishments, what block they go with, and if some of the embellishments need to be cut, they have a cutting guide here to show you how to get the most out of that piece of embellishment that you have. So that is all there. So just to show you the fabrics, we got some cute oranges. I love the spider web. And this one has all kinds of things. It actually says Candy Corn Quilt Shoppe. Ladies or lizards served daily. Is that what that says? No. Lattes and lizards served daily. That's cute. Brew Linda's Coffee Shop. We add Scream to every cup. They got some cute stuff. Yellow. We've got green bats. Black and white stripe. Polka dot. I love these little like pennants. That's super cute. Gray. Purple bats. That same fabric with the little signs, but in purple. This is just a purple floral. A different color purple floral. Orange. Purple and green. Orange polka dot. And then they have this yellow. So those were all the fat 16ths. They have a few what they're calling scraps, which are the size of 4x4. So you have a few of those. This is the fabric that's going to be used for the border. So they give you strips of that. And these are some of the bigger pieces of fat 8ths. So some of them may be the same or slightly different than the other ones we've got. So there's the green version of the signs. It's a herringbone, polka dot, solids. We got more of the orange one with signs. Okay, that's all the fat 8ths. And then we have big piece of this polka dot and this black and white spider web. And then this piece. I think this is the fabric that is used behind the witches, and those are bigger blocks. This is used behind several pieces, so that's some background fabric. And then the borders are going to be the binding is in the black and white stripe. So we'll use this piece to make our binding. And there's an inner border with the orange signs. So that's why they gave us extra of that fabric. So that's everything I got in my kit. And my next step is going to be to cut interfacing for all of them, iron the interfacing, then trim the blocks based on my fabric cutting guide. So that is everything for there. Sorry, I was not looking at the comments while that was happening. Okay. Joe has a very good question. What if you mess up when you're cutting? That's why we measure 3 times, cut once. Because I am the queen of messing things up, so I know all about that. I think I got rather lucky with the Oh So Delightful. I bought the fabric kit for that one, and I didn't mess up anything bad enough to where I lost like that fabric. A lot of these pieces of like the fat 16ths forever, you have enough to probably get one more cut for some of them. Some of them, like, it takes up the whole piece. So just take your time, keep referencing back to your cutting guide and pay attention that you are actually cutting it what it's saying to. So most people say measure twice, cut once. No, I need to measure 3 times and double check 3 times. So just like I said, take your time. It's all laid out for you. Very easy to understand and just follow the directions. So I don't think you'll have any trouble. Okay, I'm looking at the other. Okay. So yeah, Terry's saying she found a bunch when she just Googled the fabric kit, a bunch of options came up. Um, Stacy's going to Hobby Lobby and get something close. Yes, that's a great option as well. Hobby Lobby has a bunch of cute Halloween fabrics. Some of it are just basics, where you just need some purple with a polka dot or a design or whatever, some stripes. And then if you see some cute Halloween fabrics, substitute. Put whatever you want in there. But I think just the general Halloween color scheme, anything is going to look good. All right. So I see Joe also asks about SF 101. Now that Joann's is closed, I know. I'm almost positive I bought like a 10-yard bolt of this from Walmart online, and it got shipped to the house. It wasn't like something they had in the store. I want to say it was like $35-ish, if I'm remembering right. So also Amazon has it, so you can look and compare prices. But like, look at Walmart on their website, look at Amazon, check Hobby Lobby. I don't know if they sell this by the bolt or not, and if it goes on sale. Like Joann's used to put this on sale every once in a while. Where else can we look? I don't know if Michael's has it now that they're supposed to be carrying fabric. We can look and see if Michael's has it, if they have a sale or a coupon. So we'll have to dig around and see who has the best prices. And Terry, yes, I bought the fabric kit off of Etsy. Okay. Joe said she accidentally ordered the featherweight. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not. So the whole point of this, which let me show you the label so you know what it actually looks like. Can you see that? So the Pellon, is it backwards for y'all? On my computer, it's showing backwards. Let me see. Yeah, it's showing backwards. It's Pellon SF 101 Shape Flex Iron-On Woven Cotton Interfacing. This gives extra stability. Focus. This gives extra stability to your background fabric so that it doesn't pucker with all the quilting. I think it makes the project look nicer, but is it absolutely necessary? I don't know. I think it looks nicer, but I think you could get away without it too if you didn't have it. So I'm gonna say it's optional. I like it, so I'll leave that up to you. Okay, Becky did some digging for us online at Walmart. It has it for $39 right now, and it's usually $49.50. So there you go. That seems like a good price. Okay, Michelle wants to know, what is the easiest thing to start off with if you've never done this? So I want you to do first, go grab the designs in the embellishment kit while it's on sale. Then decide, do you want to buy the fabric kit? I recommend it. If you have the extra money, I can't remember what I paid for my fabric kit. Let me go and look and see. I think I linked it, the same one I bought before. The fabric kit right now is $81, and that includes the backing, which I did not get. So I don't know if it includes it now, or maybe mine was just missing. But it is $81 right now on Etsy. If you can afford it, I would grab the fabric kit. It makes life easier to me. If you're not grabbing the fabric kit, I want you to go through your stash at home or go to wherever you buy fabric at and go and assign a fabric for each one that they have in your instructions, so that at least you've made yourself a fabric kit. And so that will make the cutting guide and everything a lot easier. Okay, Joe's saying what shop? It's linked on my page. Go to my Candy Corn Quilt Shop dedicated page I've been showing you on my website, and scroll until you see the fabric kit and click on it. It will bring you directly to the Etsy shop that has it. Okay, now once you have your supplies, you have your designs, you have your embellishment kit, you have your fabric, then you can get something like these, or you can use Ziploc bags. I bought these for my first sew along, so now this is the third time I'm using them, and I'm getting my money's worth. I think they cost $20 on Amazon. I have a link for them also on my Candy Corn Quilt Shop dedicated page on my website with all the supplies. So these are, my kids use these at school. They put papers in them, and you can use a dry erase marker to draw on them. I think football teams use them too to draw up plays. But they're just simple, clear envelopes. And what I've done is I've taken a piece of blue painter's tape and stuck it on here, and I wrote the name of the block. So what I'm going to do is, once I have all my fabric cut according to my guide in my book, I'm going to then go and put everything I need for all of my tombstone blocks in this envelope. I'm going to put my pieces of batting. I'm going to put my background pieces of fabric, any applique pieces of fabric. If there's any specialty embellishment fabric, everything I need for those tombstone blocks is going to go in this envelope. And so I've made an envelope for not every single block, but every single different kind. Because like actually there are 3 tombstone blocks. There are 3 hoop blocks. There's only 1 broom parking block. So only that's going to go in this one. The fabric bookshelf, that's only 1 block. There are 2 dress forms, so both of those will go in here. So I've already got mine labeled, and I think, did I have like 15 or 16 of them, is what I figured I needed. And then you could put the borders in one as well, if you wanted to. But this system is going to help you a lot, so that when it's time to make the tombstone blocks, all you have to do is go grab your envelope that has everything in it and ready for you to make those blocks, besides the thread. So this is going to encourage you to start every time. Because like when I tried doing a quilt project like this without any of this prep work, and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to do 1 block at a time, and I'm just going to cut the fabric that I need for that block right before I start it, and so on. I got 4 blocks done and I never finished. With the sew along I did in the spring with Oh So Delightful, I did all of this prep work, and we got that quilt done, I think, in what, like 8 weeks, just doing a class once a week, because that quilt was smaller and didn't have as many blocks. And it just made life so much easier. Every week I just grabbed the envelope and started stitching. And that's going to encourage you, whenever you have free time, grab an envelope, start stitching. So that is my biggest advice, is go through all this prep work now. And so when class actually starts, you're ready to go. And you just pull in the envelope out, has everything you need in it, and we can get started. Okay. Okay, I think that's it. All right, so where were we? Because I know I'm all over the place, a little scatterbrained. Let me go back to my website. Okay, so going down the list of supplies. So Joe, click on this, and that's going to bring you to the Etsy shop. It's this one that it was $81 right now. And it will, well, it's coming from Louisiana, so your shipping may, it may show you something different here. Okay, this one. All right, so that was this. All right, this is the Pellon SF 101, or Kimberbell makes their own version of it called Kimberbell Fusible Backing. So let me click this. This brings us to Amazon, and it's sold by the yard here. So it's almost $10 a yard here. So that I think I did a lot better buying it on Walmart. So this is only helpful if you only need like a yard. We need to find a better deal for that. Another thing that is optional is Heat and Bond Light, but to be honest, I don't think I'm going to be using that for this project because I think I'm going to end up putting this on the back of all of my applique. So I may not use any Heat and Bond Light. I just always have it as a list because I use it for appliques usually. Spray adhesive or Elmer's school glue stick. This right here, I used this for the whole Oh So Delightful quilt sew along. So you'll see when we actually start stitching something, but we're going to hoop just the stabilizer, or in my case, the muslin, which is just, you can get it bleached or not bleached, but this is just super lightweight, thin woven cotton. This is what I'm using as stabilizer. We're going to hoop this. The first stitch is a placement stitch. It's going to show you where to put your batting. Because I cut my batting to fit in that rectangle or square perfectly, what I do is I take my glue stick and I just rub it on my stabilizer that's in the hoop and everything, and then I lay my batting right on top of it just to hold it in place. And then my next step is my background fabric, which will go on top of that. So temporary spray adhesive like Spray and Bond or Elmer's school glue stick. Okay. I have two specialty threads. One is a water-soluble thread. This can be used to stitch the basting stitch for each quilt block, and it makes, normally we have to remove that basting stitch before we trim, and this makes removing it a lot easier because you just wet your Q-tip and run it along, and the thread dissolves. So this is optional and very helpful. Invisible thread, which is like microfilament clear thread, I use this on the last steps of the quilt where I'm adding the backing and doing stitch in the ditch. Actually, this is wrong. This was from my other project. I need to erase this. So I will be using it. If you want to add some flair to your project and have any metallic thread colors, you want to change out your purple for purple metallic, or orange or yellow, or any of the thread colors, it makes it a lot of fun. Orange pop rulers. These are another optional thing that Kimberbell makes that makes trimming the blocks a lot easier. And this is what they look like. Oops. They come in two different sets. They have a rectangular set and they have a square set. And what they are cut to the size of certain quilt blocks. So this is a 4.5 by 6.5 ruler, so that the finished size of the block once it's sewn in is 4 by 6. And so I can put this on a rotating cutting mat. I have my block I just stitched in it. Put that on a rotating cutting mat, and then center it in place. And they have guidelines here for your rotary blade to go, start below and finish above. And so then you rotate it, trim, rotate it, trim. And so when you're done, you have a perfectly trimmed quilt block. And they like I said, they have two different sets. Each one, there's multiple frames in each one, but they have a rectangle set and a square set. I have both of them. I'll be showing you how to use them when we get to actually stitching and finishing a block and everything. Okay. So with that, you can also use a regular quilting ruler. You don't have to use the orange pop rulers, but having a rotary blade is important. A cutting mat or even a rotating cutting mat is really nice. There are going to be times where we're going to use a mini iron. I have a wool ironing mat. A quilt clapper is super helpful. This is a wooden block that we put on after we have pressed something, and it helps lock the heat in and lock your press in by absorbing the heat. So this is the quilt clapper I have, and I have a link to it there. Embroidery paper tape. This is Kimberbell's paper tape that you can stitch through if you need to, but it helps hold things in place, as you can see. It's a low tack, low adhesive tape that comes in handy when you have to make sure nothing moves. So that's that. A stiletto. I have this stiletto. It helps me just hold things in place as I'm stitching. And it has a silicone side and a pointy side. So I just have that linked for you. These are the scissors that I use. So there are the Havel's applique tweezer-like scissors, which are great. I have these. Oops. And I have this Kimberbell set of scissors, which comes with a tweezer-like scissor, regular, some tweezers, and a duckbill scissor. So this is a really nice scissor set to have if you don't have any of these. This is at Sewing Plus, and I have a coupon for them. When you check out, you put in Carly Bell as your coupon code, and you'll save 10% off of your purchase. Clear blue tiles. We're going to go over this when we get to some of the larger blocks. This is where if you have a large block that needs background quilting, but you don't have a large hoop to do it in, this is how you can break it up and do it in smaller hoopings. And we'll go over this in one of the classes, but this is a product that Kimberbell makes that allows you to do that edge to edge looking quilting like a long arm, but done in small repetitive hoopings. Oh, this is a tote bag I bought to store all of my rulers and clear blue tiles that Kimberbell makes. I just put it in there because I show it to people, and I love it. So I linked that. These are the little plastic folders that I put all of my blocks in. You can get those on Amazon. And then bobbins. So those are all of the supplies I have. They're all written here for you. They're all linked so that you can go through and get what you need. And then this is the machine I'm using, my Stellaire. But like I said, I'm trying to keep it in a 6x10 hoop or smaller. And then these are the thread colors. There is a thread kit that you can buy, and you can click on it and it will bring you to an Etsy shop that has the thread kit. But you can also just go in your craft room and find thread colors. I also have, these are all Glide brand threads, and these are the colors. So if you have these already, or you can use a thread conversion chart, which I linked for you here, and find, what is the exquisite equivalent of this coin color or Madeira equivalent, change it over to a different brand. And then lastly, this is that free organizational chart I made for y'all. Just put your name and email and click here, and it will automatically email it to you. So all of that, again, is on my website, carlybell.com. Okay. I think that's all of the supplies, the website, the free chart to download, the thread, the fabric. That was everything I wanted to go over with you. Are there any questions there? And while I give y'all some time to type those in, I am going to start getting some stuff ready to actually cut and warm my iron up and start trimming some of the fabric according to the fabric chart. Okay. Another thing I wanted to show you what I've been doing for my sew-alongs is I get a basket of some kind and I will store my envelopes. I have my hoop in here, my batting. I'm going to end up cutting all my batting and that's going to get put in the envelopes. I have what I'm using as stabilizer, my orange pop rulers. When I'm done today, I'll be putting all of my papers in here too. And my thread I have in a separate little basket, but I kind of try to keep it all in one spot so that either I could go grab it off the shelf when I want to work on it or I leave it on my craft table, but I have it all kind of contained. So I highly recommend going look in your house for a basket you already have, or if you need to go buy one, Target is my shopping place of choice. That and Home Goods, they always have good stuff. But I think I got this white little collapsible bin from Target. Okay. Okay, Michelle X, what is that brand of iron I have behind me? So this is an Auric iron. I got this when I got married 16 years ago. My mother-in-law bought us an Auric vacuum cleaner and it came with iron. So they don't make this anymore, but the closest equivalent is Panasonic makes a cordless iron that comes with a little stand. But I have had my eyes on the Oliso iron that you can leave it like this on your table, and then when you're not touching it, the little legs pop up so that it lifts itself off of your ironing mat so it's not heating through or whatever. I've had my eye on that iron for a very long time, but this is Auric. It's old, but it has a cordless option. So I do a little switch and the cord comes out. So it's pretty cool. The most important feature of an iron for me is auto, because I'm the person that leaves the iron on for 3 days. So auto shut off. Okay. I'm using a 3-hole punch in the folders and put them in a 3-ring binder. Love that idea, Aretha. Love it. Great idea. All right. The fabric kit is sold out now. Uh-oh. Let me go back. We'll find more. Don't worry. Let's see. The one on my website doesn't say it's sold out. The link from the one I put in my website to Etsy, it's still there, Joe. It just says in demand, 3 people bought in the last 24 hours, but it still has it so you can add it to your cart. Let me add it just to check. Yeah, no, maybe. Add to cart. Nothing's happening when I click add to cart. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. I'll go find you some other options when we're done with today's class. Okay. So Millie has a great question. Do I use the muslin as a stabilizer all the time? No, only with these quilting projects. I have not used it for any other kind of stabilizer for like clothing or bags or towels. No, then I'm going to use my traditional poly mesh or tearaway or something like that. Just for these quilting projects, I've used the muslin, and like we're making this quilted zipper bag in my VIP membership group right now. And so where's my fabric I quilted? Here. I used it for the bag. So like this is the next bag I'm making. So I quilted the fabric and I used the muslin as a stabilizer, and you see I trimmed it after. So this is the back of the fabric. So these kind of quilting projects, I'm using it as stabilizer, but not for clothing or other things. Okay. All right. I don't know, Joe. What are you talking about? Okay. So I got my iron warmed up. I got my mat. So let's grab my book. And another thing that I did, so if you bought the fabric kit and you're using these fabrics, notice I wrote with pen right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So on the organizational chart, where's that at? On here, when it says background fabric and you see F10, that means fabric number 10. And it says black webs. See, for me, this was number 10, black webs. So that's where that number is coming from. If you go and number this in your book, that's where that number is coming from. In the previous quilt I bought, this was numbered, or there was a paper with it all numbered, but for some reason this one is not. So I numbered it myself. So that's where that is coming from. But I'm just going to pop over to the cutting chart. So here we go. So this is the gray wavy fabric. So I'm going to go grab that here. It has a piece that, if you see the way it's arranged, and I have to hold it closer so you can actually see, here. So we have 8 inches here, and then we have 3.5 here, 3.5 here, 2 here. So what I end up doing is cutting this whole thing, and then I'll go cut those pieces. Or you can cut one at a time, however you would like. So this is 8 inches, we'll say, wide by 3.5 and 3.5 makes 7, 8, 9 inches tall. So what I did was I went and cut a piece of interfacing. What I said 8 by 9, I made it a little bit bigger. I did 8.5 by 9.5. So just to make sure it would cover the whole thing. Now, this won't have too much left over when we're done. So I could just put this in the middle and go and just scrap the rest, or I can try and put it right in the corner here. But what we're going to do is, on the wrong side of the fabric, we are going to press the textured rough side down on the background fabric. Okay, really make sure the textured side is down, because y'all don't want to know how many times I put my iron to this that the textured side was up. And to protect myself, I bought this thing. This is made by Bonash, and it's an iron cover. Like, my iron will fit in it, and I can just tighten around it. And if I do accidentally put it on the sticky adhesive side, let me do this. I won't ruin my iron. Because I did it like a ton of times with the last fabric prep I did. So that's it. You just do like this, and now it protects my iron. And I am going to press the SF-101. I probably got it poking out from the edges, and that's okay. But I'm just going to make sure I got more than what I need, and then I'm going to trim my blocks from this. And you can see it's poking out a little bit, so I'm going to do it from the front too. And I'm not worried about it since I have this cover on there. Okay, so once your interfacing is on the back, now move my mat and trim my pieces. And I'm just going to put my fabric like it is here. You can, doesn't matter what side the interfacing is on, but my first piece needs to be 8.5 by 3.5. And you can just use whatever kind of rulers work best for you. I have, this one's not helpful because it's only 3. I need 3.5. This one could work for it all. So it needs to be 8. Let's see. I'm not good at this at all. No, this is where I struggle. Yeah. And again, this is me making sure I'm holding things right. So I need 8.5 here, and then 3.5 up. No, not 8.5, 8. See? Check 3 times before you cut. 8 by 3.5. All right, and then once I have it, let me get my good rotary blade. Double checking again. I have that piece, and I can just go ahead and cut my other ones while I'm at it. So I have 2 of them that are 3.5 by 3.5. So that would be 7 by 3.5. 7 by 3.5. 7 by 3.5. Yep. And then I would cut this in half. Three and a half. 3.5. Good. Those are done. And then 2 by 3.5. Okay. So those are all the pieces for that bit of fabric, and this can go in my scrap pile for something for later. But I have these 4 pieces of fabric that is cut to the size that I need. But now I need to figure out where they go. So I'm going to find that fabric on my list here, right here. This is fabric 11. So on here it tells me the 8 by 3.5 piece, that's for the Quilt Shop roof. So I'm going to go find my Quilt Shop envelope right here. And that one goes in there. And now 3.5 by 3.5 piece goes ME by number back, Twilight Boulevard back, Haunt is back. So I think that's all the witches. The witches are all holding the mini quilts, and that's the back of them. So I have a folder for witches, and all of these are going to go in that one. And so that's the process, is cutting the interfacing to be a little bit bigger than what it calls for, iron it on, cut your pieces out, and then go back and find which envelope they go in. Let me know if that makes sense. Okay. Hi, Diane. Okay, let's see. Yay, Retha. I'm so glad you love the organizational charts. Yeah. Joe's like, I could totally see why buying the fabric kit is suggested. Yeah. It helps me get it done, because for me to go, because when I bought my first quilt, which is Spring Showers, which I still have not finished, I was like, oh, I still ended up going to the store and buying fabric to try to get fabric that matched what they had, because I love the color scheme that they went with. And then I still have a box full of stuff that I've not finished with that quilt. So having the kit, for me, it's make or break. Am I actually going to get it done? Now, with that said, I got the Main Street Celebration bench pillow. The bench pillow, I did not buy a fabric kit for. I still ended up going out and buying fabric, of course, because I just like to. But I had fabric in my room already, and I actually had a really cute red, white, and blue set I bought a long time ago, like fat quarters. And so I used stuff I had in my house already. But going through the process of using the fabric kit before helped me prepare for that. But with a big project like this quilt, yes, the fabric kit, highly recommend. Yeah, Joe, you make a very good point. I would have assumed that it would have came ready to use with the price that they charge for it. Yeah, me too. They do not. It's not all pre-cut for you, unfortunately. No. Okay. So any questions on the process of now trimming your fabric? Does that make sense to everyone? Add the interfacing, iron it, cut it out, add it to your envelope. So now your homework to try and get done before our next class, which is next Tuesday, is to interface and cut and put in envelopes all of your fabric. The only thing I'm not going to mess with is the actual big border, the skinny inner border, the fat outer border, the binding, and the backing. That's the only thing I'm not going to mess with right now. But everything else I am going to get interfaced, trimmed, put in an envelope. The other thing that I am going to get done is I'm going to follow my batting cut sheet here, and I'm going to cut out 5 pieces of batting that are 2 by 2 inches. I'm going to cut out 4 pieces of batting that are 2 by 4 inches. And when I'm done with cutting all that batting out, I'm going to go look at my chart and be like, okay, for flying geese, I need 4 by 6 pieces of batting. for these border blocks, you know, I need all these different sizes. For the pinwheels, I need 4x4, and I'm gonna go put them in the envelopes that correspond to those blocks. So get all your fabric interfaced, cut, all your batting cut, and put those in your envelopes. If you want, you can wait for the embellishment and just pull this out as you need it and trim it as you go. When I pre-cut all of my embellishments for Main Street Celebration, I found I wasted a lot because, say, like I just needed one little piece of glitter HTV for a little applique. It had me cut like a 2-inch by 2-inch square of something that was teeny tiny, and I could have just used a corner of it and I still had all of it left over. So I'm going to wait and not cut any of my embellishments until it's time to use it, so that I'm not wasting any of it, because I find I'll get some stuff out of here when I'm done that I could use for other projects in the future. So let's see. I could show you real quick the threads that I have picked out. So the thread kit had what? Main things you need is black and white. Got big ones of those. It said a dark orange and a light orange. So this is the only dark orange I have. So this is Madeira. This is as orange can get, I think. But then I have these two that are lighter. So I haven't picked one yet that I'm going to use for my light orange. There is it says yellow, but it looks gold to me in the example picture. So I'm going to go with more of a goldy yellow. They had dark gray and light gray. I don't have my light gray out yet. Where is it? Maybe this one or this one. So this is dark. One of these I'll pick as my light gray. A shade of purple, a shade of brown, and lime green. So if you don't have lime green thread, now's your time to go buy it. But I think that was all of the thread colors in the kit that they have available to purchase. And then I have, this is my invisible clear thread I'm going to use at the end for stitch in the ditch. And then this is the water soluble thread that I'm going to use for the basting stitch of each block. So I'm just putting all of that in here for the most part. I need to pick, I'll probably do these. So something like that. And then my big black and white. So I'll have all those set on the side for this project. Okay, so well, Joe says, I need to find some fabric first. I may be way behind on the homework since for a while since I need to do that. That's perfectly fine. You go at whatever pace is going to work for you. Some of you are going to be waiting for supplies to come in. That's perfectly fine. Take that time to just watch the videos when we do them, so you kind of have an idea of what we're doing before you actually start it. Take the time to actually go through your whole instruction book and, like, you know, look ahead, familiarize yourself with the steps, all of that. So you can still watch and read and do whatever you can do to get ready while you wait for your supplies to come in, or, you know, get your fabric all together. Retha says that she's going to miss 4 videos while she's on vacation, but she can catch up when she gets home. The videos are going to be there for you whenever. If you decide you want to wait and make this quilt after Christmas, so you can have it ready for next year, the videos will be there for you. The supply list will be there for you. You just go and make your own schedule. It's pretty much you do it on your own, at your own pace. You know what I mean? So I'm doing this live but everything is going to be recorded so you can go back and watch it when you are ready. I know the time doesn't always work out for everyone, so lots of people may be watching the replays anyway on the weekend or in the evening when they get home from work so that they can participate. But the only one that has to follow the schedule is me. Everyone else, y'all do it whenever it works out best for y'all. So Sherry, I found the fabric kit on Etsy, but when I go add to cart, nothing happens. Let me go to the thread kit, add to cart. Nothing. Something must be wrong with my internet or computer. Y'all are seeing me okay? I'll try again once we're off the live and see what is going on with that. But it's showing me that it's still in stock. If I see that it goes out of stock or I find more vendors that have it available, I will add all those links to my website where I have all the info for this sew along. So there's a drop down box and it says everything is sold out, not on my computer. And I've refreshed the page and it only says the machine embroidery CD is sold out and the thread set is sold out. It's still showing me the fabric and the embellishment kit are available. But I don't know. But I'll go find more shops as backup for you. Okay. But I think that's it. That's all I got for y'all today. In the meantime, if you have any questions, you can comment. If you watch the replay later, you can comment under this video. I'll try to answer any questions. You can always message me on Facebook or Instagram, and then you can always email me at hello@carlybell.com if y'all need anything. But definitely go visit my website. Go look at the page that's dedicated to this sew along. All the information that you should need is there. And then I'll go add to it when I find more vendors for different supplies. And I will add to it as we have new videos uploaded so that you have like one home base to get everything you need for this sew along. But if you haven't already gone and purchased the designs, go grab that and the embellishment kit while it is on sale at Kimberbell. I am an affiliate for Kimberbell, so what that means is if you purchase their products using my link, that helps fund my channel so that we can do these fun free sew along. So anything you get from Kimberbell, from Amazon, from Sewing Machines Plus, those are all special referral links from me that's telling them that, hey, you know, Carly Bell sent me here. So it doesn't cost anything extra for you, but it helps me out a lot. So I appreciate it if you go to my website or use the links in the description box below the video whenever you're making your purchases. Okay, guys? All right, that's, I think, everything I wanted to cover for today. So I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday. You get busy finding and cutting fabric. And next Tuesday, we're going to get started with the flying geese block, which is really fun because that is like actually piecing in the hoop. So we will piece a flying geese block in the hoop, and we are going to go over how the border blocks work. And so we'll be making probably a couple of those, and then we're going to just start working our way through this quilt, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And fingers crossed we actually get it done before Halloween. So that's it. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and I will see y'all, according to the schedule, next Tuesday, September 9th at 12 noon Central Time, both on Facebook and YouTube. All right. Bye, everyone. I'll see y'all next time.